Hi, welcome to Buchan Stationery, and today we'll kind of be talking about the new Lamy All-Star Limited Edition colors. So most of the time, Lamy usually releases maybe once a year, or maybe like twice a year, but in different times. But this year, Lamy has decided to release two of them at the exact same time. So what are they? First, we have the Lamy All-Star Azure and the Lamy All-Star Cosmic. So, what's a bit different between the Lamy All-Stars and the Lamy Safari? We'll talk about that later. What I found actually kind of interesting is that most of the time when there's special editions, Lamy usually releases the Safari in April and the All-Star in February, but that was a switch this year. Also, another thing to note is that this year, even with the All-Stars, that Lamy will not be releasing any inks to pair it up, and by looking at the colors, and we'll kind of get more into that later, it's kind of difficult to pair these up with. But it's the exact same thing with the Safari, as a way that's like they've just released them with the exact same colors. So let's kind of take a look into the video, and let's just see what we think of the colors and how the pen ranks.
So here I'm going to have the Lamy Safari Savannah Green, just kind of as reference and to highlight a bit of the differences between the Lamy Safari and these Lamy All-Stars. So right away, the first thing that you can see is that the finishes are a bit different. So the Lamy All-Star actually has an aluminum body versus the plastic body that we know in the Safari. Another thing that is of interest is that the color and I guess the finish, as you can see, the Safari on the right is a lot more matte and the All-Stars are a lot more glossy. However, I still believe they kind of have this style of matte finishing, which is really appealing in the All-Star pens, and it kind of does add a whole new look. So now let's kind of take a look at the grips. So the grip in the Safari is a kind of a plastic opaque, so you can't really see through it. While if you look at the Lamy All-Star though, it kind of has a smoky finish on the grip, so it's actually transparent. So you can actually see the ink inside and kind of the insides of the pen, which is actually pretty cool. Next up, the nibs that come with this are extra fine, fine, and medium. And as with most Lamy Safaris and the Luxes and the All-Stars, you can kind of switch out the nibs, which also allows you to use your broad nibs of choice. So now let's go take a look at kind of how these colors interact, especially with the Azure. So here I am kind of comparing it next to the kind of a deep blue color on the right and a very grayish on the left. So with the Azure in between, you can definitely see it's kind of a mix of blue and gray. So it's a lot more closer to the gray, but there's still a beautiful blue there. As for the Cosmic, it's a very muted pale rose gold. It kind of brings some similarities of the 2013 special edition of Pearl. Finding an ink this light would be very difficult to pair with, but like again, maybe you could go for some contrast. I feel that would be better. Now, as for the Azure, I feel like you could definitely get a different style of ink, and it does remind me of the Glacier special editions that Lamy released a couple of months ago. And yeah, I feel like if you use it that way, you can definitely pair it up with the Lamy Crystal Benetoit. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just kind of take a look at the different series of it. So we did not get access to the Lamy, the Cosmic Fountain Pen, so we'll just show you how the rest looks. So pretty standard rollerball here, again with the smoky grip. I love Lamy Safari and Lamy All-Star rollerballs. These are honestly just so smooth to write with, so nice, and yeah, they're kind of lightweight too, which is what I prefer. And honestly, like I would choose this over the Lamy Swift for sure. There you have it, just typical ball pen, very similar to the Safari. Like I said, the main difference between the All-Star and the Safari is the aluminum body and the smoky grip. And yeah, that's kind of it right there. Same thing with the Cosmic. I really do like the pairing of smoke with kind of the rose gold. Now, while this is quite of a muted rose gold, it still kind of rings true that the combination of pairing these two is really nice. I also really like that with the TWSBI's, I think it was the Smoke Rose Gold pens. Like the rose gold and smoke is just a fantastic pairing. And let's just take a look at the usual
Lamy stainless steel nib. Now, as I've actually been experimenting more with the Japanese stationery and the sailor nibs, again, you have to remember with Lamy, the nibs are much less fine. So if you prefer like a Japanese extra fine, not Japanese fine, you'd probably have to go for a Lamy extra fine. But yeah, here's the pen. And now let's kind of just take a look at the pairing that we are going to mix today with the Lamy Crystal Benoit and the Azure fountain pen. So let's put the pen to the test and kind of see how it pairs up with the Lamy Crystal Benoit. So first of all, I do want to mention about the Maruman Nemesis notebook. We carry a lot of different notebooks, paper blanks and Midori, and they're all great notebooks, Rhodia. Like my coworkers prefer paper blanks and all of that. For me personally, I do prefer the Maruman Nemesis. I am a student, so I do spend a lot of time writing notes and on hours on end, and especially with exam season right now, Maruman has been just a joy to write with. Very little smudges I've experienced or anything like that. It's been a joy to write with. I've been able to write on hours, no bleed through, no show through, and very limited feathering. So honestly, it's a great, and I could use any different types of inks, fast drying, slow drying, and overall the writing product is going to be great. So let's see how it goes. Let's roll up my sleeves here and let's open up the ink. There we go. Oh, we got a bubble there. Let's just try to figure that one out there. And I'll be dipping the pen in today because these do not come with a converter. So if you do want to use your own inks, I would suggest you also buy the All-Star with a converter, as they only come with the cartridge. So yep, right away, the writing is smooth as you would expect with any Lamy nib, especially with me like testing out a lot of different Japanese nibs recently. I do have to like say again and reiterate that the Lamys create much less fine nibs. So for example, like a Sailor fine would act a lot more like a Lamy extra fine. But overall, it doesn't matter much. I still like write with a wide variety of nibs, and I do love the smoothness of the writing that Lamy offers. With the ink, the Lamy, the Crystal Benoit is a bit darker than what I expected, but it's still a pretty nice pair up with the Azure color because it does remind me a lot of the Lamy Glacier, as I said previously. So that's pretty cool. I do love how like the pen looks together. The blue ink pairs well, and the smoky grip does work well with the Azure color. Another cool inks you could pair up with this would be a lot of like blue-gray inks. Some Lamy blue-black would be great too. As with the Cosmic, that would be a lot difficult since again, it's kind of hard to find a ink that color that you could see through the paper, but overall, a nice contrast would be great. So yeah, that's some of our thoughts on the Lamy Crystal ink and the Lamy All-Star Azure fountain pen. Overall, great joy to write with. It's everything I would expect for Lamy to do. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Again, the paper was great. It was a joy to write with, and yeah, I would highly recommend Maruman to anybody who likes to write with a lot of notes.
So yeah, that wraps up our video of the Lamy All-Star special editions of the Azure and Cosmic. Overall, pretty interesting colors. They're very muted variations of different colors we've seen Lamy come out, which is pretty cool. Love the aluminum body. So yeah, overall, that's what you get for the colors. For the next video, we will be kind of reviewing and comparing the Platinum Curatus with the Pilot Vanishing Point. So that was actually a pretty fun video for me as a broke university student. Can't exactly be experimenting with a lot of pens like the Pilot Vanishing Point because it is quite expensive, but it was pretty fun to use. And yeah, the Platinum Curatus is also pretty cool with their vanishing points. Yeah, that's our video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Buchan Stationery.